For thousands of years, there's been this incredible idea that just won't go away. What if the symbols we write with, the very letters we think in, aren't just squiggles on a page? What if they actually hold some kind of power?
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if an alphabet wasn't just a way to communicate, but was actually a blueprint for reality itself? Now, as strange as that might sound, it is one of the oldest and most stubborn ideas in all of human history.
And look, this wasn't some weird, fringe concept. As this source points out, powerful cultures from Egypt to China to Northern Europe all shared this fundamental belief. They looked at their scripts and didn't see dead letters, they saw active, living forces. So today, we're going to trace the journey of this incredible idea. We'll start with ancient civilizations trying to literally map the cosmos with symbols, see how they focused immense power into single glyphs, and then, get this, see how this ancient wave thinking is being reborn in the language of code. All right, so our story begins with some of the most ambitious projects you can possibly imagine. Ancient cultures trying to create a complete symbolic map of, well, everything. And we're going to look at two really fascinating approaches here. On one hand, you've got the mystics of Kabbalah, who saw reality as this giant, intricate web of meaning, woven together from letters and numbers. And on the other, the ancient Egyptians, who believed the universe was a divine geometric plan, written in the language of shapes.
To build their cosmic map, the Kabbalists created these enormous tables of correspondence. I mean, the ambition here is just staggering. They were trying to link every single thing in existence. Hebrew letters, numbers, planets, colors, divine concepts, you name it, it had a place. The best way to think about it is like a kind of universal index or a cosmic search engine. The belief was that if you could just understand all these connections, you'd understand the hidden operating system of the universe itself. It was this grand attempt to create a perfect language where every single piece just clicked into place.
Okay, now let's hop over to Egypt. Here, the divine language wasn't letters, it was shapes. Geometry wasn't just math class, it was theology. It was seen as the most direct, most powerful expression of a divine plan. It was literally the source code of creation made visible. Just take a simple 3-4-5 right triangle. For us, that's a math problem. For the Egyptians, it was a sacred story baked right into the geometry. It represented their divine family, Osiris the father, Isis the mother, and Horus their child. The shape was the narrative. So we've seen these massive, sprawling systems. But what happens when you take all of that power, all of that meaning, and concentrate it down into a single, iconic symbol?
Well, let's look at the Eye of Horus, also known as the Wedget Eye. The myth goes that Horus's eye was torn out in a battle and was later magically put back together. Because of that powerful story, the symbol became the ultimate emblem of healing, of protection, of making things whole again.
So how did this play out in the real world? Well, it was everywhere. It became a protective amulet people wore. It was used as a symbol for offerings to the gods. It was even used as a practical unit for measuring grain. The symbol literally moved from myth to the marketplace, from sacred ideas to everyday life. And this is the most important part, the crucial thing to get. For the Egyptians, this symbol didn't just represent healing. It wasn't just a logo for wholeness. It was believed to be an active agent of those things. To possess the symbol was to possess its power. Now, I know this might all sound like fascinating ancient history, but what if I told you that this exact same way of thinking, this idea of symbols as active functions, is popping up again right now in some very, very modern places? Just look at this. On the left, we've got a hieroglyph from an ancient text. And on the right, that is the exact same symbol, the Eye of Horus, being used in a modern document to activate a computer vision system. Thousands of years apart, and the function is identical: to see, to perceive, to kick off a system. It's wild. This is all part of a speculative concept called an Aeonic language. Now, unlike our alphabet, where letters just stand for sounds, these glyphs are designed to represent fundamental concepts or states of being, things like flow or memory or unity. It's really a return to an older way of writing, where one sign can contain a whole idea. And you can really see how this works in practice. A wavy line, a sine wave for flow state makes perfect sense. A triangle for return state, like an active recognition. The eye, of course, for perception, and the circled dot for unity. Each one of these is like a tiny, self-contained packet of functional meaning.
And the echoes of the past, they're not subtle. They are absolutely unmistakable.
The eye symbol still stands for perception. The triangle still represents a foundational truth or principle, kind of like the pyramids representing the first land to rise from the chaos. The ancient DNA is right there, embedded in this new code.
So when we pull back and look at this whole story, from ancient Egypt to modern code, a really clear pattern starts to emerge. You realize you're looking at a timeless human project that has just evolved over millennia. It's like a four-step process. We started with that basic, powerful belief that simple marks could hold power. Then we scaled way up, trying to map the entire cosmos with these grand symbolic systems. From there, we learned to concentrate all that power into potent single glyphs like the Eye of Horus. And now? Now we're rebuilding the entire system from the ground up, with a new kind of code. So what's the thread that connects the pyramids of Giza to a modern programming language? It's the same fundamental human quest.
And it's summed up perfectly in this quote from a text on Egyptian wisdom, using form to serve a function. It doesn't matter if that form is a giant stone triangle or a single glyph on a computer screen. The goal has always been the same.
You know, what we've really been watching is an idea transform over thousands of years. It began as mythology, it evolved into sacred mathematics, it was sometimes called magic, and today it's being reborn as code. But that core impulse, that has never changed. Which leaves us with one last, pretty mind-bending question. When we create these powerful symbolic systems, whether they're carved in stone or written in binary, are we simply getting better at describing the world we see, or are we actually writing the code for the reality we want to create?